Hi, my name is Tamika Chambers. And if this is your first time watching me, I am a professionally trained nurse with a BSN. I have over 20 years in the healthcare industry, and I am a mastered prepared nurse. Just over the past few years, though, instead of nursing, I have transitioned over to the medium of writing. Writing, listening, writing, and speaking to the hearts of individuals. Because throughout my personal and professional journey, I have taken care of people with physical ailments, but often there were the emotional wounds, the roots of their physical ailments. See, I know what it's like to have pain projected on you. My father physically, emotionally abused my mother. I experienced two family members misuse my developing body, but I refuse to be labeled by those experiences. That there was more to life than what I had experienced. And so I cried out for nature's help because I said I wanted to be aligned with nature. So my soil was fertile. And I know there are many people that when pain is projected on them, they disconnect from the source of life instead of coming back to it. And I believe all of our mission here on earth, part of our earthly journey, is bringing people back to the light, bringing people back to the source of light, aligning with the source of light, that our experiences do not define us, that we are here for a divine reason and purpose. Our life, no matter what we've experienced, still has meaning and purpose. We are still masterpieces of art, perfectly created for our divine journey. We are spirits in bodily form. And so during the month of May, today is May 2nd, and what better for me to do, because I have two things that I am very passionate about. Number one is that do not wait to pay tribute to someone after they're gone. My mother was very instrumental, continue to be very instrumental throughout my earthly journey. She is the one that provided us with her life principles. She shared her lessons, humbly shared her lessons that she experienced, sticking mainly to the facts of what happened and the treasures she gained from the experiences. She was the one that helped me to get past my projection, the pain that was projected on me, to see that I was more than that, to keep me, she would say, keep trucking in life. She would say, live another day. And I've shared these principles on my podcast. I've been talking about those. And now I'm really talking about how it has helped me as throughout my my motherhood journey, being a parent to two spirits. And so the second thing that I am passionate about is that I am not successful as a mother unless my children are successful. I have seen where children of famous people get deterred into other things. And often we hear, drugs, we hear so many things that happen. And I'm not here to judge, but what I am here to say is that our children are often a reflection of our parenting, of what we do. And so what we allow, what we don't allow, what we nip in the bud, what we don't nip in the bud, what we teach them, what we educate them about, what we empower them with, our life lessons and our principles, I believe, are to help remind them of who they are, spirits in bodily form, and that their life has meaning and have purpose. And so what I'm going to be doing on YouTube is sharing these principles that have helped me before being a parent and now as a parent. And one of them that I'm going to share with you today is give from the heart. It is so often so easy to get busy with doing and doing and doing, becoming successful, becoming famous, becoming known, that unfortunately sometimes our children pay the consequences. We sacrifice them to have something that we think is greater, to give them a home, to give them clothes, to give them a lot of it material things, right? But we have also seen that material things do not guarantee happiness, do not guarantee inner success and peace and joy, do not guarantee that we're going to treat our bodies the way that they are. They are the temple of our spirit. And so it is so important for me to parent from the inside out. And that's what this series is about, is parenting with principles, standards, living by standards. Because you've heard the saying, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for things. And you've seen in the Bible, if you don't stand for something really grounding in truth, when the winds and the storms come, they will knock you down. And I know that I've had storms. I've had high winds, but it was the principles that I built my foundation on that have helped me to weather the storm, to have helped me bypass the potholes that are associated with, statistically, with child abuse, with growing up as a single parent, with having a father as an alcoholic, abusive, that I've seen those statistics out there, and I chose not to be a statistic. That I tried my best to remain standing, to get up and to keep trucking when those storms came, one to push me back down. And it was, again, my mother's words of wisdom that helped me. Parenting with principles, with purpose. Our children have a divine purpose. They are never responsible for adults' behaviors. That when we choose something, we choose it because that's what we want to do, or that's what we desire to do, or that's what we feel we should be doing. It is not the child's, well, I want to do this for you. Don't you want me to do this for you? What our children need is our love, our unconditional love, and our respect, and our attention, and our time. Vision. Without a vision, we perish. What do you want your children to have? Who do you want them to be? Do you want them to have this material wealth with nothing to ground them? So when the storms come, and my husband told me, one of the famous singers said, you can get into the music industry, but will you continue to maintain? Will you be able to sustain it? Will you be able to continue to treat your body as the temple that it is? Will you need anxiety medications to rid anxiety? Or will you believe and trust that the Bible says, do not be anxious for anything, but with prayer, petition, thanksgiving, you make your requests known, and he will give you the peace that surpasses understanding? Do you rest at night, being a famous singer, dancer, musician, peacefully? Are you dealing with insomnia? Because I believe that many of the issues we have is because of our disconnection with the source of life. And it's through parenting, through motherhood, that I'm able to remind my children, our children, we're able to remind them who they are. Again, that no experiences define them. Their life has meaning, and they are stronger because God gave them the spirit, the power. He gave them the spirit of self-control, of love, not of fear and timidity, right? That fear comes from something else that we have allowed to gain access to this temple, to this inner garden of ours. And so my mother often said, when I remember one day, family members wanted to borrow some garden tools from us. And I thought to myself, why are we giving them garden tools when they don't, if we give it to them, they don't want to give it back, or we give it to them and they say, it's mine. Not, no, that's not yours anymore. It's mine. Or they weren't as nice to us. They often criticize us of our house. Some said we stayed in the shack. we lived with mice, and we had tenants, roaches, and, we lived spiders. We had that. Many of the other family members didn't have those tenants living with them, right? And so we had that. And I was wondering, why was my mom given to those that, quote unquote, lived better than us? And my mother told me that day, she said, you give from the heart and you expect nothing in return. As I began to read the Bible, I read the Bible once when I was 10 years old, when I was looking for the truth, when I was looking for something higher. I read it at 10 years old. As I continue later on in life, when I read the book later, I realized that God looks at the heart of individuals. And I knew this as a child. He looks at the heart. It's not what you give to your children, but it's the intention behind what you give. When I took my mother's principle, give from the heart, step further, I believe it's about giving our time. It's about listening to those jokes and just things that we often say, okay, what was that you just said? That didn't make sense. Or, a joke that's not all that funny, but you laugh. We give from the heart when we praise our children for what they did. When we tell them, wow, good job for sweeping the floor. Good job. My son just had his teacher to use one of his homework examples to show the class. My daughter just scored 100% on her math practice test. She just did that. We give of our time when we go, allow them to cook with us. We give them our time when we help them with their homework. We give them our time when we listen to them read. I heard a parent say, my child reads, but I tell him to read silently. I want to hear my children's voice, because I show, when I listen to their voice, I show that their voice is important, that what they have to say is important, even if they're reading something else. When we give our heart, we give conversation. I can't get that conversation, where we're talking and speaking with our children. We're listening to them and their opinions and their insights. When we make ourselves available for them and they don't feel intimidated or scared to speak with us. I have seen many adults and heard of many adults who won't even talk to their parents, who shake and who are afraid to talk to their parents. That relationship was not grounded on trust. That relationship suffers from feeling intimidated by a parent. My children, as I am, we are spirits here for a divine purpose. So we give our time, we give conversation, we give from the heart when we allow them to express their purpose. What do they love to do? My children love to draw, to create art. And so I give them what I see that they need. If they need art projects, if they need painting projects, if they need clay, I go ahead and I buy those things for them, because I want them to fill out what it is that they're here for, that it is within them. And so I want you can definitely listen to, I would encourage you to listen to my podcast, which is Create a Generational Love Cycle. It's all about parenting. It is all about principles, and it's all about helping others fulfill their purpose. Because whatever we do at home, we do out in the world. That how we treat our children has a direct and indirect impact on the world. And I know many mothers feel like they're losing their children, in gangs, in prisons. And again, I feel that it's because there's a disconnection from the source. They're trying to find meaning in the wrong ways. But there is a right way. And the right way is grounding them in the truths that are already in them. God says, in the Bible, it says that God put his laws in our minds and he wrote them on our hearts. And as when we help our children remember who they are, we help them to remember their truths. We help them to remember love and forgiveness and compassion. And we help them to see that the very things they're using to hurt others, to project pain on others, are the very things that they could be using to show love to others. And so again, I will be sharing my parenting series here on YouTube. I definitely encourage you to subscribe to my newsletters on tamikaschambers.com, where I will be discussing or providing tips on healing from the inside out. If you've been through traumatic experiences, I have a series I just did on healing from the inside out on YouTube. I share recipes. I'm all about cooking traditional foods with a healthy twist on them. Because again, this is our vehicle for our divine message. And I also share information on just achieving and sustaining health. It's not about diets. It's about listening to your body. It's about taking in the information and using that, taking the time to take care of what you have. So this is Tamika Chambers. I look forward to sharing another one of my mother's principles. Today I shared, give from the heart and expect nothing in return. That it's all about where our intention is. Because wherever our intention is, that's where our attention goes. We can take our family back by helping them, reminding them who they are. I'll talk to you guys soon. Make this lifetime great because you still can.